So we're pretty close at this point. Hopefully, by the end of the day, we'll have a build that we're going to send out to the entire company here and then have everybody play it. I played it for a little bit today, and it looks really, really good. So we play through it just like everybody else, like beginning to end. We try to, as much as we can, wash our brains free of having seen it every single day and just have fun playing it. Yeah, as much as we can.
So I'd say the biggest issue has been just not being overwhelmed by the sheer volume of the game and the amount of stuff that needs to get polished all at once. We have a whole bunch of things that we want to finish, and we want to hit our date, which we do have one, despite what people might think. But we also know that the game's got to be great. And so, you know, we have issues come up, and we have to ask ourselves, how serious is that really? Because when you're as close to it as we are, anything that's wrong with it seems like an emergency. Really trying to figure out what actually needs to improve is a big challenge.
We are putting the last polish on everything, so by and large, I think it's turned out really good. I think the team's done an amazing job. There's a few polish items that we're now having to sort of go like, all right, how do we solve this and make sure that we still get it to where we want to have it at. But I think that's really just talking about a very small margin of it for the most part. I think overall, I think it's looking pretty good.
To be able to, you know, do a really good job of localizing the game is something that Blizzard takes a lot of pride in. We try to make our games feel like they were designed for each region individually and not like they were ported over to another region. And because of that, we need a lot of lead time on dialogue and things like that. So we lock kind of in steps. So we get a big chunk of the game locked so that we can send that off to localization and they can start their work.
A lot of the localization stuff that Jay talked about, we have to try to flesh that out a little bit more. It's definitely in progress right now. All the localization teams are putting in text, but there's still a lot of little things that we have to do to make the functionality complete.
Yeah, you know, these are things that obviously we've had, or we've known about for a while. So in a lot of ways, we're aware of this as we developed the game for the last few years. But at the same time, I think a lot of our focus has been to make sure that the game's fun. We have plans in place to make sure that as we localize it for different regions, where we have to be aware of different sensitivities, we make concessions for that. So that's definitely on the radar.
There's still a lot of stuff to go for the beta, which would be next. So there's also some bigger game systems that we realized on the way to alpha that we didn't 100% like, or they weren't clear. So we're going to be tweaking a lot of little things like that. I think the big one is the save game system. It's not entirely clear to players right now when the game gets saved. And so what we're going to do is we're going to tweak that around a little bit and see if we can make it more clear for players. Multiplayer functionality, more multiplayer functionality on the Battle.net side is coming every single day. That stuff's going to take off as we head towards the beta. It's going to be great. So.
One of the producers said the other day that the balloon is shrinking. I don't know what that means, but I kind of understand why they say it. It's starting to feel like, yeah, it's starting to feel done. Like it's starting to feel, not all of it, and certainly there's still issues, but like we can look at parts of it and go, yeah, that's pretty much the way it needs to all be. So just do that to everything. Yeah, it's pretty insanely exciting.
Yeah, it's nice to see the to-do list shrink.
Yeah, it hasn't done that in forever.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's always been increasing.
Yeah, we always just make it bigger, and yeah, it's nice to see it get smaller.
I mean, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, especially for this alpha, to try to pack as much stuff as we can into it. I mean,
I want to put it out there. Because I want it to be done. Like and that's the step to getting it done. Like, yeah, it's nerve-wracking, but what's the worst they're going to say? They're going to tell us what's not good enough about it, and then we'll have clarity on what we need to fix. That's a good thing.